a stay, and Governor J. Nixon denied clemency. One day before his execution, he was offered a last meal. Clayton requested steak, salad, mashed potatoes with gravy, bread, apple pie, and a glass of milk. On March 17, 2015, Cecil Clayton was executed by lethal injection at the Missouri State Penitentiary. He was declared dead at 9:21 p.m. When asked for his last words, Clayton said, "No, they brought me here to execute me." Thomas Douglas Arthur. State, Alabama. In 1977, Thomas Arthur took the life of Eloise Bray West, his wife's sister, after she refused to reveal his whereabouts. He was sentenced to life in prison. While serving his sentence, Arthur participated in a work release program. During this time, he began a relationship with Judy Wicker, who in 1982 offered him $10,000 to take the life of her husband, Troy Wicker. Arthur accepted the offer and obtained ammunition through an acquaintance. On February 1, 1982, he broke into the Wicker residence disguised with a wig and dark makeup. Troy was shot point-blank in the right eye, causing his immediate death. Judy, in her initial testimony, claimed that an unknown man had attacked her before killing her husband. Authorities discovered inconsistencies in Arthur's alibi and found $2,000 in cash among his belongings. It was determined that Judy had paid him with part of the $90,000 from her husband's life insurance policy. Judy was arrested and sentenced to life in prison, though she later testified against Arthur in exchange for a reduced sentence. Arthur maintained his innocence, but on March 22, 1983, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. His first two convictions were overturned, but the third conviction stood. Arthur faced scheduled executions in 2001, 2007, 2008, 2012, 2015, 2016, and finally in 2017. All were canceled, allowing him to prolong his life on death row. For this reason, he became known as the Houdini of death row, as he managed to elude 7 execution dates before his final one. The day before his execution, he was offered a last meal. Arthur declined the offer, stating, "I don't believe in that last meal nonsense. I never have an appetite. When they're trying to kill you, you're not hungry." On May 26, 2017, Thomas Arthur was executed by lethal injection at Holman Correctional Facility in Alabama. He was declared dead at 12:15 a.m. When asked for his final words, he said, "I love you," to his daughter and gave a thumbs-up gesture. In an interview before his execution, Arthur spoke about the impact of his repeated execution dates on his family. "It almost killed my oldest daughter, Sherry," he said. "She came to 6 executions, and the stress of her father being killed was so traumatic that it damaged her heart. She almost lost her business and her home. So I told her to disconnect. I didn't want her to come anymore. She didn't come to the 7th one and won't come to this one." Murray Hooper. State, Arizona. On December 31, 1980, Murray Hooper and 2 other men broke into the home of William Pat Redmond in Phoenix, Arizona. Inside, they bound and gagged Redmond, his wife Marilyn, and her mother Helen Phelps. They then shot them in the head. Marilyn survived the attack and testified against Hooper during the trial. Authorities stated that the murders were ordered by a man who wanted to take control of Redmond's printing business. Hooper was sentenced to death and spent more than 4 decades on death row. Over the years, his attorneys unsuccessfully attempted to have DNA and fingerprint tests performed on the evidence in the case. They also argued that Marilyn Redmond's identification of Hooper had changed over time, and that some witnesses had received benefits in other criminal cases in exchange for testifying against him. The day before his execution, he was offered a last meal. Hooper requested Kentucky Fried Chicken, macaroni and cheese, barbecue sauce, a biscuit, cheesecake, 2 pints of Neapolitan ice cream, and a large Fanta soda. On November 16, 2022, Murray Hooper was executed by lethal injection at the Florence State Prison in Arizona. During the procedure, there were difficulties inserting the intravenous lines, which delayed the execution. Eventually, the sedative pentobarbital was administered through the femoral artery. Before the execution began, Hooper smiled, waved at the witnesses, and said, "It's all been said. Let it be done." He also addressed his lawyers, friends, and family, saying, "Don't cry for me, don't be sad." Minutes later, his body stopped moving, and he was declared dead at 10:09 a.m. Clarence Ray Allen. State, California. In 1974, Clarence Ray Allen planned the robbery of Fran's Market, a grocery store in Fresno, California, owned by Ray and Fran Schladewitz. Allen, who already had a criminal record, involved his son Roger Allen and other accomplices, including Ed Zavala, Carl Mayfield, and Charles Jones. During the robbery, $500 in cash and $10,000 in money orders were stolen. After the robbery, Allen gathered his accomplices to discuss the need to eliminate Mary Sue Kitts, who was related to his son and had been talking too much about the crime. The group unanimously voted for her death, and Allen killed her, an act described as retaliation for the fear that she would talk. Even while incarcerated, Allen continued to orchestrate crimes from prison, conspiring with his cellmate Billy Ray Hamilton to murder key witnesses. In 1980, with the help of his girlfriend, Hamilton committed the murders of Brian Schladewitz, Josephine Rocha, and Douglas White, while 2 others were injured. These crimes were orchestrated by Allen, who sought to ensure his exoneration of previous charges. After his arrest, Allen was convicted of the murders and the conspiracy to murder witnesses, receiving the death penalty in 1982. Over the years, Allen appealed his sentence, arguing that his advanced age and physical condition made him unsuitable for execution. However, the court rejected his appeals, and in 2005, California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger denied his pardon. The day before his execution,